I got from one of my clients. Long story short, he's currently doing a job that isn't his calling or isn't his passion, but he's doing it to fund the growth of his own business. And this is a pretty classic bootstraps way to start your own business, is basically you work a normal job on the side to provide the capital you need. This is for those who don't want to get a big loan or don't have capital funding from somebody else. It's just the way it's got to be done. You can't start a business with no money. Now, in this situation, we have to... Oh, I got a new follower. That's nice. In this situation, we have to ask ourselves, do we tolerate the shit about this job that we don't like? Or is it considered to be a compromise of who we are, our values, and therefore we have to quit the job and leave? And that's the kind of situation I want to speak to today, is when you're in a dilemma of, I don't like the thing that's happening, kind of, is it worth the fight? What I generally say is, the first question you've got to ask yourself is, why am I here? In the case of my client, why am I in this job? And you've got to come back to that. If he was in this job to be a big part of the company that he's working for and make his way up, then the things that annoy him in the company are actually his problem to solve. They're actually part of the job. You know, one of the best ways to move up in a company is to become the problem solver that no one else is being, solve the problems that everyone else is avoiding. So if, as I've talked about with this client, if this is the hill you want to die on, if this is the thing that is your passion and you want to make your name doing or whatever, then yeah, these little problems are yours to be solved. However, in his case, this job is a means to an end. This job is just funding. It would be no different to if he was stacking shelves at a supermarket or pumping gas at a gas station or frying up burgers at McDonald's. No matter where he works, there will be annoying elements to them. Let me turn off that alarm there. There will be elements to that are annoying, and he would have to either tolerate them or leave. So at what point do you know when this is actually a big deal and you've got to leave? I would say it's at the point where your values must be compromised. To give you a bit more insight, one of the things that he said aggravated him was, he's doing sales calls and their phone system doesn't work very well. It creates a delay when you're trying to talk to the other person, which kind of disconnects the conversation a bit. That delay does not compromise his values in any way. Now, if the manager said, I want you to lie to clients, that would be a compromise of his values. But the technology not working properly, or the management being annoying, or whatever, none of these are a compromise of your values unless you feel that you have to sacrifice yourself and what you believe in order to keep the job. So that's what I'd say essentially to any situation that aggravates you and you're figuring out whether or not to deal with it. First off, do you actually need to solve the problem to maintain living by your values? And if the answer is no, then you've got to ask yourself, secondly, is this problem actually a deal breaker? Is this problem so aggravating, so upsetting, that I cannot have a high quality of life with this problem as it currently exists? And then, of course, thirdly, is this problem something that only happens in the situation I'm in, and if I leave the situation, the problem goes away? Or is it the kind of problem you carry with you? Like, if you're easily upset by technology not working, good luck finding a job where that doesn't happen. Okay? So, those are just some thoughts, but ultimately, most of the time, if you don't have to compromise your values, I'd say either solve the problem, and if you can't do that quickly and efficiently, then just ignore it and move on, work around it. It actually becomes a challenge of your values. But understand deep down, there is no problem-free life. There is no job that doesn't have its hassles. There is no team you work in that doesn't have that dickhead that you wish wasn't there. And there is no relationship that doesn't have conflict, and there is no city that you live in that doesn't have too much noise or too much pollution or bad drivers or something, right? And if you run away from all these situations, you'll be running your whole life. But you got to ask yourself, do I have to compromise who I am to be in this situation? If the answer is no, then maybe you don't actually have a problem. Hope that helps sort it out. Obviously, these things will still aggravate you, but then the question becomes, how do I become someone who's less aggravated rather than how do I solve the problem? And that's usually an easier way to solve most of your problems, is to actually stop calling them problems and be less aggravated, in which case I recommend you study Stoicism and other similar philosophies that will help you with that. Hope that helps answer the question. Might not be the answer you want to hear, but in my mind it's the truth. and I'll see you guys for the next round next time. Cheers.